order, please.
We're going to call the Monee Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals regular meeting of June 19th to order. Could we all rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do the roll call, guys. Bettenhausen. Brophy.
Here.
Culp.
Here.
Linner.
Here.
Lindstrom.
Here.
Trevino.
Here.
West. Now I need a motion to nominate Ron Lindstrom as chairperson for tonight's meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
Brophy.
Yes.
Culp.
Yes.
Linner.
Yes.
Lindstrom.
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, now I will need approval from the board for the regular meeting of May 17, 2023. I need a motion for that.
I'll motion it. I'll motion it.
I'll second it then.
Second.
And a vote?
Culp.
Yes.
Linner.
Yes.
Lindstrom.
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Brophy.
Yes.
And now we're going to do open to the public.
Thank you, Ron. P&Z Board, I put a folder in front of your spaces, or next to you, and inside of that folder are the policies that we are desiring as the village for our P&Z board members and our other board members to sign. Our employees are also in the process of signing some of those same policies. The policies that you have in front of you today are policies that we're asking that we'll be signing on an annual basis. Those are policies that not only help protect you as a member of the P&Z board, but also then it looks how it impacts our public. So you'll see a stack that's paper clipped together that are annual policies, and we will be signing those off annually. That's the anti-harassment policy. There is also a sexual harassment state training receipt. We have to show that all of our people have signed that Illinois state sexual harassment, and inside of your anti-harassment policy, it speaks about sexual harassment. So please be cognizant of the fact that the reason we're signing those are to set that receipt is to satisfy the state of Illinois requirement on the receipt. Bloodborne pathogens, protection against unlawful retaliation, and then there is a whistleblower policy there also. And then there are periodic trainings. So those periodic trainings you won't have to sign again if you're when next year comes along. We'll keep those on file. The only time you would be signing some periodic trainings is if there's a new training we need to bring you up to date with, and or if there is a change to the policy that you already signed. And those are the policies that impact your use of computers, our code of conduct, conflicts of interest, email and voicemail usage, expense reimbursement, media relations policy, and then there is a receipt for a handbook in there, and you should have a handbook. So if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out for me, and I can walk you through those. I am going to ask you to read them, because it's policies that we want to make sure that everyone upholds. So I know they're lengthy, so if you read them, that's something I'm asking that you do, because you're signing off that you understand the policy. Again, if you have questions, you certainly can reach out for me.
When do you need these signed by?
Oh, that's my last piece.
Okay.
If I may have them from you by July 31st, that would be great.
Okay.
You can just drop them off or put them in. I have a mailbox in the mailroom also, so you can just slide them in there if you'd like to do that and leave them for me. The last thing I will leave you with is that please, if you have questions, call me, because I want to be able to clarify anything that you have. And if you think I can't read your signature, if you would please print your signature on one of them for me. You don't have to print them on all, but print it so I make sure that all of your stuff stays together and it gets into your file that I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to head into new business, and Bill is going to come up and speak on recommendations regarding the mural program in regards to the Village Inn building and the traffic and utility boxes.
Thank you, Ron.
Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So most of what I'm going to talk about is, of course, as Ron said, the mural program, which I think we're supposed to come up with an ordinance. I think, not tonight, but as far as parameters and that type of thing. And I know the mayor has talked about this and other administration for several years. So just so happened that probably a month ago, I ran into someone at an event in Illinois Municipal League, Business After Hours or something. He actually happens to be the mayor of Lockport, and his main business is doing murals, vinyl and that type of thing. So I'll kind of walk through that. And I know you have copies of everything, but sometimes it's nicer to have it on big screen and the narrative too. So for those that don't know who I am or what I do, so I'm Bill Barnes, the Director of Economic Development. I've been with the village for about 2.5 years. A big part of my background in the past has been design, rebranding, marketing, community relations, that type of thing. So that's how, if you ask how does economic development guy fit into this, that's why, because of my background. And also, when you enhance, it's like when you sell your house. First thing they talk about is curb appeal. So when you enhance the look of your village, when people come in, it makes it more attractive for, not only, of course, the residents, which is priority one, but also people coming out and enticing them to be here. So this all has really started from, of course, next year will be Monee's 150th anniversary. So we've gone through several iterations with the Village of Monee 150-year logo, and this seems to be pretty close, not fully consensus yet as to the direction we're heading for a logo. So this next year will be applied to, apparel, mugs, that type of thing. So, and then also some of the things that I'll show you as to where it'll be placed as well, like plaques, that type of thing. So this all really is tied into the 150th year anniversary or celebration, that all of these things that you see will be put into place over the next year, starting in 2024. So a long time, and don't expect you to read all of this because it's small, but so we've talked about, of course, the history of, Monee is that there was a Native American woman that was here, and it was kind of maybe mispronounced that her name was Monee, Mary, that type of thing. So we're looking to kind of pay homage, I guess, to that and the heritage of what Monee is about, which is Native American and this woman. So I saw a sculpture when I was in California. My daughter lives there, so I always keep my eyes open and look at things. So I saw a sculpture that prompted me to look into the sculptor in California, talk to her about some pricing. This is one of her pieces of work. Okay. So that kind of stemmed into, let's see, no, it's going to go to video, so just bear with me because it's a little lag time on it. So this is not the sculptor. Well, once it comes up, hopefully. Yeah, John, I did this last time too. So why isn't it pulling up? Well, you know what? I'm going to skip through that in the interest of time. So, bottom line is, I found a sculptor who is in Peoria, which is nice because it's closer. It's in Illinois. So the woman that I found initially, Jackie Willis, said this is the person that would be better suited for a sculpture of Monee, the character. And we're talking about a sculpture, sorry. She's a sculptor, this will be a sculpture. That's about 6 foot high. And then it would have a 3 to 4 foot stone base on it. And we're considering where we're going to put it. Is it going to be the new town center? That's still up for debate. So this young lady, and I'll go through the slides, but it'll give you an appreciation. It certainly did me, and I do abstract art, so seeing all the steps that are involved in creating a bronze sculpture is just pretty mind-boggling to me. So, this is how everything starts, with the skeleton basically, and then the chicken wire and things like that. And then she goes through and everything is done with a clay overlay, so it has to have all the detail in it. And then from that, and so she did this, I think, for a private party, but this is the sculptor that would do the work, and I have to get another bid. But you can see all the steps that she took, and then they have to separate it out, and then they put a plastic injection molded piece over it, and then they create the other part, and then they pour plastic. So there's a lot of steps that are involved. So it gives you an appreciation. Then this is in the foundry, so pouring the bronze, the metal. And then all of these have to be then put together, so they're all welded. Weld is like smooth grinded away, so you can see all the details. And then she has to sandblast it with patina, and then she has to torch it to give it that look, and then that's the finished product. But you can see how detailed this is, and this is bronze, so that's what our sculpture would be, is bronze, because we want it to last forever, or at least in our lifetime. But again, I mean, the detail is incredible, and I've been talking to Christy Holstein at the Historic Foundation. She's put together a lot of information about Monee and the garb that they wore and that type of thing. So this sculpture would be pretty detailed. We don't know what she looks like, but it is what it is. So then moving to the mural program. So I know some of you have seen the piece in your packet, and I've got some on the wall over here, so I don't have to. So it would start with the Village Inn wall, which the owner, who I think passed away, the previous owner, but then I think her kids maybe are running it, are in agreement that we could cover this. So there would have to be some prep work to the wall to make sure it's solid, that nothing falls off. So the procedure for this is, this painting I actually saw at the historic building, and we feature this at one part in our economic development video when the mayor kind of is talking through her narrative and talks about the history of Monee. So Steve Strite in Lockport added the flag, and I had him add the police car. One thing that could change or will change is we'll probably put the 150th anniversary logo on the door. The police department is working on a 150th anniversary badge, so it would go on there to tie the history. So this is pretty cool. I don't know if anybody's like an art fan, but at Art Institute there's a piece that's I think it's called Saturday Afternoon in the Park, where people and then you feel like you can walk right in. So this is kind of that effect. So it kind of brings it to life, which I think is pretty neat. Any comments or questions about this? Oh, and I should back up. So this is not painted on, this is vinyl. And the vinyl is actually heated, and that it's heated and it follows every little crack and crevice and texture of I think it's maybe drive it, and then there's some stone at the other end. I can go back. You can see that there's a cinder block on the right-hand side, and then it's textured on the left. So that adheres to the building itself, and it's heated. So, and then it's vinyl, so it's not going to fade as fast as paint, especially red. Red always fades first, just because of the ultraviolet lights, our sun. Any questions, comments?
I've got a comment.
Yeah.
The sculpture,
Michelle, where's that building at?
you're buying a sculpture that's already been produced, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're having it made?
No, we'll have it made. No. The one I just showed you is just an example of,
So you're having it made. What are the parameters, what are the guidelines that she was given?
she,
to make this?
she hasn't been given any yet.
Okay.
So that's where I've been talking with Christy, like, okay, what do we want? What should she be wearing? What should she be holding? What are the kind of a prop, or is she holding a book? That type of thing. And then we'll also, so there'll be a lot of communication between Christy and the sculptor as far as information goes.
What you brought in is not what.
No, that was just something that started the idea. Initially, I was looking at doing more of that would be called a figurative sculpture, where it's not detailed because we didn't know what she looked like. And so, but then it quickly, Christie said, no, we wanted to look, what they wore, so. And then we would see,
Just make a suggestion then.
yeah, of course.
The parameters that she should be given would be in line with the comprehensive plan, Monee comprehensive plan, that was adopted in 2001, March of 2001, that 277-page document.
Okay,
Okay, so, under the comprehensive plan, if we look at page 35, I'd like to read to you that
Sure.
particular historic part,
sure.
okay? It says, origin of the name Monee. Lore and legend says the village is named for a French Ottawa Indian woman, Marie Lefebvre Bailey, daughter of a French fur trader and a half-French, half-Native American Ottawa princess. Marie was renowned as one of the most beautiful women in the Northwest. That's Mackinac Island. That's pretty far from here. That's how pretty she was, huh? Okay. Her father died when she was 8 years old, and her mother took her to live with Indian relatives. While young Marie was called Monee by the French, the Ottawa had no sound corresponding to the letter R, and thus called the little girl Monee. French treaty clerks wrote the name as Monee.
Right.
So it's a very rich history. I was in a state of panic when I saw the sculpture.
Oh, no.
Of a woman
Just,
with
it's
a
an
mop.
idea. It's an idea.
A woman with a mop, and
Sorry, I
thought,
probably shouldn't have showed that. I'll take it out, but yeah.
This beautiful woman got
Yeah.
denigrated to being.
No,
Okay.
no.
So basically, I would like to have some of these wordings included.
So, yeah, so once so believe me, Christie, with her history stuff has like that much stuff.
Oh,
So,
wow, good.
yeah, so she'll send it and, but what we'll see first, once we get to that point, and again, I have to check for one other sculptor. I have quotes for two, to throw it out there. And I mentioned this, I think, the other day. So the two sculptors that I've talked about, one in California and one in Peoria, Illinois, their prices are exactly the same, which are $10,000 a foot. Right. So that's why we want to keep it about 6 feet, 7 feet maximum. So, and that's the price, and it's bronze, and again, it's going to last forever, so.
That's wonderful. The
Right.
parameters are to be given to her. And she
Right.
basically will-
Right, and we'll see it, and we'll see first, the video wasn't there, but we'll see first as a miniature clay model
Right.
before she goes to a full-size clay model. And then we'll be able to make adjustments. And that's the nice thing about, although, I go to California quite a bit to see my daughter, I don't mind. But it'll be the nice thing that board members and Christie can go to Peoria, and it's not a big ordeal to drive down there to, right, exactly,
There's a 3-hour flight, 4-hour flight.
right,
The other comment that I want to make is about the mural.
yeah,
Again, referring to the
Oops.
comprehensive plan. And that's what we have to basically work off of, is the comprehensive plan. The photo of the mural, the copy of the mural that you have, apparently came from one of the photographs on page 38 of the comprehensive plan. And if you look at that particular page, you'll see that there were 3 steps that the village had, that most Main Street had. 3 basic photos of back in time, middle time, and now. Okay? So that particular mural, is kind of a hodge mixture of all 3 of them, which is good. There's no question that the mural is very, very pretty piece of work. There's no question about that. The comment that I want to make, I think, is the incongruity or the congruity between what we have in the comprehensive plan and what the mural actually depicts.
So one thing that I would say is this isn't going to be the only mural that's going to be in the village. This is the start of the mural program, and that's where it's,
I see that, but
Yeah.
for the people that live on Main Street,
yeah,
that's the only mural in town. Okay, that's the one they see every day when they go
Right.
to work, don't they? Okay. All right, so if we look again at the comprehensive plan, that's what we have to work on. Question 7, page 149. what would you like to see in the Main Street, Old Monee area? And that was a questionnaire that went out to the citizens in Monee, you know, back in 2021, or earlier than 2021, when the then trustees approved the comprehensive plan. And there were only 113 responses, but the people that responded had to make an effort to do so. So some value has to be made to these responses. All right. So of the 113 responses, 38 responses, protection of the old homes, and that's what they would like to see done. 80 responses were streetscaping, decorative lights, paving, and landscaping.
Right.
29 responses were in park, 66 responses were restaurants and shops, 7 responses were library, and 2 responses were a public library. And I looked at the mural, and it's, again, it's me, this is just me. I look at the mural, and I don't see it as being progressive. I don't see it as, I see it more as looking like a worn down Main Street. If Main Street is, again, it's no question on the, it might be a question of the style of the art. I'm not sure whether that's Nouveau Impressionistic or whatever it is, but the style of it makes the, you know, if you look at the foreground and the center, makes the buildings look kind of old and shabby.
Well, but it's tying in again to the history, which is what we're trying to depict.
Well, you know,
But-
just, again,
So what would you
recommend?
recommend? New?
If you look at the photo here and that's published in the comprehensive plan, I mean, at no time did the village Main Street ever look that shabby. Okay, so
Well-
I really don't know where that particular, I mean, that's obviously a style of painting. That's a
Well, it's
style,
this,
yeah.
it's in the historic
Yeah.
building, in the creamery building. That's where I saw
Painting
it.
uses this particular style. And it's common, it's modern art, it's a neo-impressionist art. But to me, again, it's just me, to me it makes the Main Street look shabby. And
Okay.
it never looked that shabby, even if you look back into the here, pass these around if you like. But even if you look back historically, you can see the 3 progressions of the village. That's just me.
Yeah.
My art
Well,
taste may be completely different.
Yeah, and I'll certainly take it to, the mayor and Ruben and talk to them and mention it to them, sure. Yeah,
That's the only objection I have, and it doesn't put forth is it's incongruent with the wishes of the people, right? The people who want Main Street, don't see it like that. At least I don't. And I go by that street every day. I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
I have to go along with it.
it's a good observation, and I'll certainly talk to the mayor and Ruben about it, and the board, and see what they say.
It's
Yeah.
something to look at. I don't know whether it's the murals get voted
Well,
on.
and I can certainly talk to, Christie and the historic, and say, okay, what is this painting? I mean, I saw it there, and again, it was like, okay, that's a pretty cool piece of artwork.
It is.
And, so then we put it into, I just took a picture of it with my phone, and we used it for the video, just as a, showing the history of Monee. It's rich with whatever the narrative is that I wrote in the script. So, but, your point is valid. I get it, because it looks like, oh, yeah, I get it. So I'll talk to the mayor and the board and see what they say. And if we want to change it, and again, I'll talk to Christie and say, okay, what was this? Was it a depiction of,
What is it?
right, where was this? Was this Main Street? I don't know. I don't know the history behind it.
Well, those are like from the early 1900s, late 1800s, where this
Where's
is
this-
probably the 50s and 60s,
Well, because it has
so-
telephone poles.
Right.
Right,
So,
Right.
yeah, I see your point,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is not probably
sure.
back enough,
I do like the visual look of that,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time up in Tomahawk, Wisconsin, and that's a very small town. And they've got a mural like this built on a wall. And it looks just like you said, like you can almost walk into
Right,
it.
right.
And I can see that happening with us. I think it would be a plus.
Well, we just hope
Anything
nobody,
that's a,
we just
that's,
hope nobody drives down that road,
yeah, no, somebody drives out.
Hits the building.
Well, it's a good thing it's in front of the
Yeah, with the
police.
bar right next
Say,
door, with the
right?
bar right next
Yeah,
door
maybe
too,
we
right?
should, yeah. But, okay, valid points, and I will certainly bring it up to the mayor and the board. Yeah, thank you. So I think, I don't know if it's up to the P and Z board to make recommendations, but we've talked about, what are the criteria? that murals, in the village should be, and again, it's not just this one, it's part of a program that we want to do, because just up the road, at Second Place, the coffee shop that, they're working on, they're going to put a mural there as well. So I don't know what their ideas are, but, so these were some of the things that the mayor and the board had talked about, which is, historical to Monee or Illinois, and these are for others, patriotic, first responder based, nature inspired, abstract, but non-graffiti. And abstract being, like the two over here on the right, which are, well, again, I saw these in California, but Manteno did something similar to this with their utility traffic light boxes. Instead of the gray, green things that are there, they put vinyls, like with kind of graphics. They look like a bunch of postcards, but they're all the same. So what I would like to do is, again, these are vinyl wraps, is I've talked to my marketing coordinator, Rachel, about reaching out to, because she's going through her master's at Governor State, but reaching out to Governor State, Prairie State College, Kankakee Community College, to the art professors to say, hey, we've got a call for entries, here are the parameters, do some designs for, if they're interested, for these traffic light boxes. One could be flowers, one could be, for firemen, there could be, whatever, the parameters, going back to the other, patriotic, historical, it could be florals, a field of flowers, like Illinois plants, that type of thing. So, and that way we create an interest for kids and their families to drive through Village and say, hey, my son did that, or my daughter did that one, and they drive around and it enhances the look. It's just, sometimes it's the little details that make a difference.
One more comment.
Yeah, sure.
Will they be location appropriate? Will the boxes, the control boxes that are painted, will they be location appropriate?
How do you mean?
Okay, I love the geometric designs.
Yeah.
They're really cool.
Mhm.
But are they going to play in the old section of Monee?
Are you
Well, that
talking
box
about
is great in the
Gulf
old section
Vista?
of
I
Monee.
think I think Oscar's overthinking this.
Excuse me, I live
I think
there.
you're overthinking this.
I mean, the flowers would be great. That would be a location
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yeah,
Right, I
That
would call
was
that. That is
go
what
for.
you call congruency, right?
right.
Flowers, the older section of town are cool. But
Yeah.
I don't think the geometric.
No, and again, this is California, so don't, it's whatever they submit, and we'll gauge as to where things go and what fits. Yeah, so, and even thought about like reaching out to like businesses, like, I've been working with Shy South Chopper Motorcycle Repair. They do some cool stuff. I think it'd be pretty cool if they did a box with like, whatever, flames coming off of it and stuff, and put it somewhere, but just ideas. And they could put their logo on it to showcase, artwork that local businesses do too. So again, these are ideas. Archways, sorry, I was looking at the next one. So again, to the 150th anniversary, we've got Court Street at the west end of the bridge, at the very foot, I guess the foot of the kind of the archway, or the bridge. This would go at that end across both lanes of traffic. So the stone that you see would be our flagstone, like we put, around our signs, and then also now at the base, or around the pavilion at the Parks and Rec pavilion. So, and then lights would shine up. They would be placed inside of the top of the brick, the posts, and then shine up, on the metal part. And then we would have lights also shining off, coming over the top of the Village of Monee to enhance that as well. And this sign would be two-sided. I live in Manteno. So this is Manteno, if anybody's gone through the downtown Manteno. They have cutout letters facing one side, and then they're facing the other side. And in design, you just don't do that, because then it looks like, what is this saying? Because you're reading the back of another letter. So that's why this would be bronze. And then the color of the Village of Monee would tie in with the same color that we have on our gateway signs now. So everything kind of connects. So I've talked to one metal company, structural steel company, Corsetti Steel in Joliet, but I need to talk to another one, so find out. But I was given the approval to have an engineer, so I got a quote, the same guy that did the one in Manteno, to have him do the structural design for this. So again, this would go on the base of Court Street Bridge, just off of Governor's Highway. And then the other would go Egyptian Trail, just a little bit south of Manhattan Monee Road, because our entryway into, once we start the infrastructure on the town center, would be a main road going into that. So it'd be those two locations to start. I guess that's it, unless anybody has any questions.
Good stuff, Bill.
Okay, all
Good
right,
stuff.
thank you.
Curb appeal matters, right, Bill?
I think so. Yeah, and and it's, I think people definitely notice. I mean, I've had people, whether it's the water tower that we painted on, Route 50, with behind you, branding that. It's about branding things and being consistent. Just if anybody, when you leave here, take a look at, what we did with the landscaping out in front of Santa Fe. Craig did that, his group. It was kind of all painted mulch before, and I said, hey, make this look good, and so he did. So, I mean, it all makes a difference.
Matters big
Yeah.
time, I
So,
agree, right.
thank you for your time.
Do you think
Sorry.
that you could possibly think about maybe, I don't know if you want to call it a contest or whatever, and have maybe Monee residents submit?
For the traffic light boxes?
Well,
Sure,
that
anything.
or any of them,
Yeah. I think I would be afraid of the mural part of it, unless it's a smaller mural, because honestly, designed by committee, getting in the details.
Well, I mean, you would
never-
have your specifics,
Yeah, we could, for definitely this type of thing, I would think would be good, because we have I'm guessing probably 15 or so
I mean, because
traffic
how
light
cool would
boxes.
that be,
Sure.
Families could say, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, my kid did that,
Right.
or my husband, or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Vinyl, is that done where the thumbnail sketch enters the computer and the computer prints it
Well,
out?
yeah, it wouldn't be a thumbnail sketch, but it would be final art.
Somebody said, well, let's change it just a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's like a painting, so it's like a painting. I mean, if some people do stuff, by hand on canvas or on paper, other people, younger or whatever, do it on the computer. On the computer, obviously, is a lot easier to change than it is
The mural would be on computer, right?
the mural would, but I'm saying the original artwork, depending on how the artist did it, like the painting that you saw, wherever it is, on the mural, where'd it go? Down here, sorry. That one. So again, that original painting that was sitting that's over in the historic in the creamery, that's on a canvas about this big. So it's an original piece of art.
It's oil or.
You're right, acrylic or something, right, exactly. So it depends on, whatever medium that the artist uses. I mean, they could use watercolor and do it on paint or what have you, so, yeah, or computer. So to answer your question, it's scanned, it's put into this, and then printed out.
Computer and then put out on vinyl.
Right.
Print it out.
Right, just like a billboard. I mean, a billboard, that's what they are, the vinyl wrapped.
They're like the beer trucks. Right?
Right, exactly. They're vinyl, yeah, so,
Pretty
okay.
neat.
All right, thanks. Yes,
Did you want a recommendation for a mural program, or are you,
well, I think the mayor, I think we need, because this has been going on for a long time, apparently, like the talk of it, there needs to be an ordinance that's created as to what the criteria is. And honestly, I don't know if that's started with the P and Z board and then recommended to, I would assume, our board of trustees. So, yeah, so if you
so I'm pretty
are
sure
in
then we
agreement
would
with
Make a motion.
make a
these
motion.
criteria, and,
Attorneys don't draw up the ordinance?
what's that?
Yeah, they
The attorney
will.
would draw up the ordinance.
Right.
Yeah, okay. cool.
So I think,
Yeah.
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 So they would make an agreement, if you're in agreement, or if there's something else that you think needs to be added to whatever criteria it is. Honestly, this covers a lot, as far as, it's pretty broad.
Are we
Yes,
gonna
sir.
vote on changing the zoning from M to C?
For just,
That was in the write-up from, no?
for the mural program?
I think that was the last meeting where we had that area where the
Or for 50
town
and-
center is.
All the
Yeah,
town
yeah,
center.
Oh, yeah, that
because
was taken care of, right.
That had to be changed.
Yeah, that was
And
changed.
that we already voted on.
Yeah, that was changed to a commercial.
Yeah.
So it's all commercial now, yeah,
Right.
yeah. So,
So basically.
but I think,
just
again,
need a motion for-
is there anything else that you can think of that should be part of the theme, so to speak? No?
The theme was-
Pretty broad.
How I feel, it goes part and parcel with a lot of the recommendations and feelings that are in the comprehensive.
Right.
And that is the feeling of a hometown.
Right.
A small town feeling, this type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the theme, that will be very terrific.
Yeah,
But also it's understandable that the center, the town center, will probably take on a different type of theme, right? A little
Yeah.
bit more progressive.
Yes,
a little bit more
absolutely.
Upscale, nice restaurants,
Right.
bistros, that kind of thing.
Right.
Well, the neighborhood such as Main Street,
Mhm.
given the comments that were made, the old town feel, the old hometown.
yeah, I mean, it's like anywhere, it's just like, okay, not that everybody compares stuff to Frankfurt, but it's the same. You got Frankfurt, you've got the old part of the village, and then you have houses that are built that look old, that, were tear downs and stuff, and you have newer restaurants, that come in, so it's kind of, I mean, it's really, I think that's the neat thing about being in a village like this, is embracing the old with the new,
Absolutely.
younger ideas with the history, instead of just being so cookie cutter and just everything looks the same. So I think, that's what brings people into a community, is the diversity, in people, and, the look of places, and it's just, again, it's taking care of the stuff that we have and making it look better. Yeah, so,
Has anybody read the book that was put out by the Historical Society?
I read the comprehensive plan.
No, this is a book
yeah,
on the history of Monee,
no,
God bless.
and it's amazing.
right,
I suggest that you get it and you read it, and it's absolutely unbelievable. It goes back to pre-1850.
right, yeah, and that's why
And-
we brought Christie involved, because.
Right, and
yeah.
the book it's absolutely amazing, and it pretty much describes how the village has progressed from roughly 1850 to 1975, I want to say. And I think that one of the most amazing things to me, what I read, was how they hand dug the railroad tracks.
Yeah,
They hand dug it because it couldn't make it up that grade.
Right.
So they dug it so it could travel, because what's it doing? It's carrying corn and wheat and what have you, and I don't know if they had coal in it, but to me, that was absolutely amazing that they took this on to do that. And then the other thing is, how many of the streets are named after people that settled this town?
sure.
Unbelievable.
What you just said, I think probably should be added to this, which is rail. Mm-hmm. So I'll do that.
Without that,
Yeah,
this town wouldn't be
right.
what it is.
So I'll add that to this, so
Yeah.
good idea, yeah. Yep, yeah. So, yeah, you could do some really cool stuff with that too. Like you said, the digging, or, the picture of like locomotives, that type of thing, so, Yeah.
Here was the other thing, the Monee Reservoir. I don't know if you realize, the Monee Reservoir was put in place to feed water to the steam locomotives. And without that, there'd be no railroad. Because that's what they used to make steam.
right. Yeah, done. I added it, railroad, so put that in there too, so, yeah, thanks. Anything else that anybody thinks that we should add to this?
Look at the theme, I think one theme will also be transportation, would be the railroad that built the town.
Right.
the-
Put that,
The trucking system that we have on 557 that introduced people to the town, that brought business to the town.
yeah, so transportation,
It's a transportation
Yeah.
kind of focus point
yeah,
from different areas,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
railroad, the trains, and pretty soon maybe, who knows, an airport.
right. Yeah, we don't want to put that in there yet.
Conversion on Monee. So one possible theme would be, transportation. theme.
Right,
A
okay,
mural with trains and airplanes and trucks and
yeah,
coming into Monee.
okay, all
Well,
right.
Just
Anything
like
else?
Egyptian Trail. Anybody realize what Egyptian Trail was named for?
No,
the trail that went from
Not Egypt.
roughly a little bit north of here, all the way down to Cairo, Illinois, Cairo. That's why it was named Egyptian Trail. Yes?
This whole area went from Willow Slough on the east to this area, the Great Swamp, was a great hunting area. You've been to Willow Slough, huh? First Willow Slough, that was Teddy Roosevelt, presidents way back, was hunt that area.
All right.
Okay,
Anything
Bill.
else?
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Bill.
Appreciate your time.
And now we're going to ask the board for a recommendation on this mural program. I need a motion for
I'll
that?
motion it.
I'll
Second
s-
motion.
And roll call.
Linner,
Yes.
Lindstrom,
Yes.
Trevino, West,
Yes.
Brophy,
Yes.
Culp.
Yes.
And I will talk to Mayor and Ruben about your thoughts, and I'll find out from Christie what that painting actually is, if it really was a street in Monee. So it's a
Can't
great
ever
point.
believe the town looking like that in 1950.
That's probably
Well, it
pre-1950.
looks better now.
That's my guess.
350?
Pre-1950. The car looks like it's probably
Okay, Bill. Thank
from
you,
the
sir.
30s.
Thank you.
Don't
All right, now we're gonna go to old business here. Is there any old business? No, none of that, and okay, now we're gonna need a motion to adjourn. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Okay. Lindstrom.
Yes.
Trevino,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Brophy,
Yes.
Culp,
Yes.
Linner.
Good evening, all.